Hey, welcome to another episode of the Delayed Gratification Podcast, where we talk about building wealth one person at a time, one idea at a time, and just being inspired by some really amazing people. Today, I got a really great guy on the show. I'm excited about this conversation that we're about to have. I'm telling you now, get your pen and paper out. Make sure you got your earpods in. Make sure you share this, because today we're going to talk about something that we normally don't get a chance to talk about and meet somebody that's producing their own product. Again, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning, man. I'm doing great. About
yourself? Hey, thank you for being on, man.
My pleasure, man.
Listen, before we get started, man, please introduce yourself. And then, I got a lot in my mind I want to talk to you about, but definitely introduce yourself. Tell us where you come from, and then we're going to dive right in.
Okay, cool. My name is Chris Hudson. I'm from Lexington, Kentucky originally. Pretty much was raised there my whole life. Then I transitioned to Atlanta. I'm a father, entrepreneur for well over 15, 20 plus years since I was in middle school. Just, a visionary, a guy that really wants to leave his footprint on this earth, man. So,
yeah, I like that, man. So you from Lexington?
Yep.
What brought you to Atlanta?
Man, so one of my good friends, she was going to Barter College. I've always kind of loved fashion, and she was like, "Hey, I see you not really doing anything. You're not going to college, anything like that. Why don't you come down to Atlanta, come to school, check out Barter College, and come there and kick with me?" So I said, "Okay, cool." So I applied, got accepted in, packed all my bags, man. By the time I got to Atlanta, she was actually transitioning back, so she graduated within that quarter. So literally, I'm down in Atlanta with no family, no friends, nobody, man. This is back, I think, around 2007, almost 2008. And, it made me who I am today.
What happened? So you got here, no friends.
Yep.
Where did you live at?
Man, so I went to college. I ended up going to
Barter. Is Barter still around?
No, it's not. It's
okay,
not
I didn't think so.
Yeah, it's not around anymore. But no, they pretty much had like off-campus apartments that we stayed in. Started working a part-time job at Target to kind of help pay the bills while I was attending school and everything. I was in the apartment pretty much, and then going to school throughout the day.
What did you go to Barter for?
To me, I went for business administration, but I also went for the fashion piece.
Okay.
More so structuring a fashion brand, how to build a brand, what to look for in terms of fashion and things like that. So
why fashion? Where did that come from?
Ramon, like for me, I've always had an eye for fashion, right? But I've also had a heart for people. And I was kind of shy a lot growing up. So I wanted to figure out, how can I speak and connect to people without actually talking to them directly.
I got you.
What I would do is put positive slogans on T-shirts, and that's pretty much how I started, man. I just always loved fashion. I love the style. My mom would always style me, you know what I mean? And it was just one of those things, man, I just into.
So you're going to college, working at Target, whatever, part-time.
Yep.
Then what's next? Like, you go to college, did you finish?
Yeah, I finished at Barter College. Then that's when I had my son. So I relocated back to Kentucky to be in his life.
Okay.
Started the clothing line, Life's Journey. Me and my homie, man, pretty much.
What year?
That was probably 2009. So initially I started in 2007. But what happened was I was selling shirts that had the Harley Davidson logo. So at that time I didn't know any graphic design or anything like that. So I had a friend, he drew up pretty much a logo. He took the Harley Davidson's logo, took Harley Davidson out, put Life's Journey in. I had a guy that ended up buying a whole bunch of shirts because they was playing in a basketball tournament, and they told him that he couldn't wear it because of copyright infringement.
Ooh. So
at that time, from 2007 up to 2009, I stopped doing the clothes, the T-shirts, because I didn't have a logo.
So the only reason you stopped selling your T-shirts is because you got in trouble about the logo.
Correct. Yep, that was it.
For 2 years.
Yes. I didn't do anything. I was devastated behind it because at that time, I didn't really know anybody that had a clothing line or trying to do T-shirts or anything like that. We're talking 2007. I didn't really see a lot of people, that was in that lane. Correct. So it's pretty much trial and error for me to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. Fast forward, I ended up coming back to Kentucky, got in a crazy car accident, and the car flipped over 2 or 3 times. And I remember I survived the crash, and So by surviving the crash, that's how I created my new logo. So it's the logo guy with the backpack and the stick.
So, but the actual clothing idea, life journey,
yeah,
you had already taken off in 2007.
Correct. I had already started it. Yep.
So let me back up. Where did that come from though? Like, what was the push behind Life Journey?
Man, to be honest with you, I just remember praying, saying that I wanted to do my own clothing line, T-shirts rather, because I didn't think it was going to grow into a full-fledged clothing line. And I just remember praying. I'm a praying man, so I was like, God, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Send me the people, help me out with the name. And I just remember just praying, man. And one night it just hit me in a dream, like Life's Journey. Got up, wrote it down, and ever since then, at that time, like I said, I didn't know anybody that was doing a T-shirt line. So I knew this one guy named Chris, still a good friend of mine today, and he pretty much was printing like hoodies and the same guy who did my logo, right? But he pretty much was printing like T-shirts.
He's
hoodies.
in Kentucky?
He's in Kentucky.
Okay.
Yep. And I reached out to him, and then that's when he did the logo. He introduced me to the Connect, the Screen Printer Connect. I met up with the guy, started selling out of the back of my trunk.
And fast forward, we here today.
We here today, man.
So I want to go back to 2009. Yeah. So in 2009, you, like you said, you met somebody that helped you design it.
For sure.
So I printed it. But first of all, why a clothing line? But then Life's Journey. You flipped over in this car.
Yeah.
That was in 2009?
When I had the car accident, that was 2009. Yeah.
You flipped over. Mm-hmm. Did that change your life?
It did, man. Because I felt like in that moment, my life was gone. You know what I mean? And it gave me more of a heightened purpose to know that I'm still here. You know what I mean? And that just really motivated me to like really tap into my greatness and like, you know what? I got to do this brand. And that's what I did.
Life's Journey.
Life's Journey.
Talk about it. Let's talk about Life's Journey.
Yeah, definitely.
The brand.
Yeah. Life's Journey, when I first started it, Ramon, like I wanted to, like I said, inspire people through clothing. Mm-hmm. So I would have these huge quotes on the back of the shirts, like just believe in yourself, pursue your purpose and inspire the world. But it was like long messages on the t-shirts. So
it's from the top to the bottom.
From the top to the bottom, you know what I mean? And people would actually stop and read it, and it started to be a conversational piece. And one of the early things that I focused on with building my clothing line was I'm always a relationship guy. Relationship first, business second. So when I was meeting people, selling out the back of my trunk, I wasn't just selling them a T-shirt. We're talking about life, family, some of their hobbies. Next thing you know, a 2-second sale turned into 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. So people started taking a liking to me. And from there, they would tell their friends, their family, and it started growing like that. And for me, my main purpose was to create and tell stories through clothing. But the clothing is just a vehicle to open up other avenues. So I started doing, fashion shows, comedy shows, where I would give local comedians an opportunity to showcase their talent.
So you would host the comedy show. So Life's Journey would be like the sponsor for the okay.
Yeah, so I would put it on. So basically what initially happened was I built my brand in Lexington, Kentucky, my hometown. I generated this huge following of people. And it was more so I built a community per se. And when I built my community, me and my homie Anthony Lewis, we went out to Vegas and we went to the trade show. And it was overwhelming. We seen all these big brands selling to these vendors and doing $1 million deals, you know what I mean? And it was just inspiration. But I'm like, man, how can we get to this level? And I just remember just being in the Vegas hotel that we were staying in. I was like, you know what? I want to do a fashion show to kind of create the brand, get it out there a little bit more. We got back to Kentucky. We put the plan in motion. Did about 4 months of planning, and I was shocked because we ended up selling out the Lyric Theater. It's a historic Lyric Theater back in my hometown, Kentucky. 500 plus people showed up.
Wow. For a fashion show.
For a Life's Journey fashion show.
Life's Journey's fashion
Life's
show.
Journey. And the cool thing about it was that, like I said, I'm big on community. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to just build and showcase my clothing. So I had other designers showcase their clothing. We had spoken word. We had up and coming comedy from Larry Starks, who's now doing his thing. Had a couple artists perform. Nemo, who's with Jack Harlow now.
Yeah.
So a lot of people focused on this event. So it wasn't, and on top of that, we closed out in prayer. So you got to see the clothes, you got to feel something, and it just made you feel a part of a community, a family. And when I did that, I was like, man, I got to do something bigger than this. And that's when I started to pit on local events throughout the Lexington community. And that's how my brand really started to grow.
So what year did you do the show?
The show, I think it was 2011.
Okay.
2011, yep. 2011, I came back at the Lyric Theater, and we had it then. And it was huge, man. It was a surreal feeling, because to take an idea and to have so many people show up the way that they did let me know that I got something.
Something
You know
special.
what I mean? Yeah.
So that's 12 years ago.
Yeah.
12. So you've been at this now, Life's Journey clothing line, 16 years.
Yeah, I've been building it. Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah.
During that 16 years, has there been a time where you wanted to quit Life's Journey?
Man, I think always, right? I wouldn't say always, but one thing I've learned about life, Ramon, is that it's always going to be ups and downs. It's always going to be peaks and valleys. And throughout those peaks and valleys, sometimes they bring an uncertainty in certain things, you know what I mean? Because it's like, man, I'm putting all this work in, I'm ready for my break. And then sometimes in your head, you might not feel that you have reached that level, but then there's always somebody watching. You feel me? Yeah. And I've learned that through people watching your journey, you're inspiring others. So when I did have those moments, I would always get a text message like, hey, man, I just want to tell you, you inspire me so much.
Do you know of it's something that stands out where, like a certain incident, or you were sitting somewhere where you said, you know what, man, I'm going to just go get a gig and just, you know what, I'm tired of this. Do you have anything, or just those moments happen, anything specific?
I think transitioning out of, because I worked in corporate America, PNC Bank, I was a finance guy. I worked in corporate America for like 6-7 years. So I relocated to Los Angeles, lived out there for 2 years to kind of study the business. I think in that moment where things were kind of slow a little bit, I thought to myself, like, man, should I go back and get my gig? Because I'm talking to the homies. They all got the 401ks. Mm-hmm. They all got their plan, retirement funds, and everything set up. And, it was just one of those moments where I had a slow period. You know what I mean? And throughout that slow period, of course, like, you have those thoughts. Yeah. But it's something bigger that just kept me moving, you know what I mean? To let me know, like, nah, you got to keep going. So I might get a big order and like, nah, this order just came in. I got to keep going, man.
Got to keep pushing.
Got to keep pushing it.
So you based out of Kentucky, then you moved to L.A.
Yep.
For how long?
So I was in L.A. for about 2.5 years. I relocated 2017. Was out there for about 2019, mid-2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you back and forth from Kentucky to Atlanta? Or?
Well, now I'm back, pretty much Atlanta now. But I travel around and do pop-up shops, so.
Okay. What does that look like? What does a pop-up shop for Life's Journey look like?
Man, community. For instance, we did one in Houston, Texas. Man, we had about 100-something people show up. A place that I kind of visit frequently. I was like, you know what? I'm getting a lot of love out here. Let's do a pop-up shop. I did one in Brooklyn, New York. People come out to support the brand. We've had one in Los Angeles, Atlanta, Kentucky, of course. I even went to West Virginia to do a pop-up shop. So it's like, to me, when I put together these pop-up shops, it's cool because I'm actually interacting with the people that support the brand. You know what I mean? And not only are they coming to buy a shirt, but it's a conversation, that we're having in this community. And, just people just really love it, man. It's just getting the brand out. And it's a good feeling, because to know that I can travel anywhere and put together a pop-up shop and know people's going to come out.
So building the brand, like you said, I know you started in 07. I think in 07 we probably had, FUBU might have still been kind of, you know what I mean? Sure. Fat Farm, FUBU.
Sean
the
John,
things that we saw, Sean John,
yeah.
Right? So that is something to say, man, how can I do that, right? Yeah. How have you, been building since then? What are some of the things? Do you manufacture your own clothes? Anything new that just came out?
Yeah. So pretty much that's something that we're working on this year. I actually want to be a blank wholesaler to up and coming brands. So that's something that I'm working on now. But no, I work directly, of course, with the manufacturer. So I have a manufacturer in Pakistan. We pretty much manufacture all our garments and everything.
You said where's the manufacturer?
In Pakistan.
In Pakistan. You been over there?
I haven't. I've been meaning to get over there, but gotta make sure I'm safe.
I feel you. I feel you. Why? So what? First of all, what made you pick that manufacturer, and is it more lucrative? Is it not anything local that compares to that?
Well, so I had a friend that I met. I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know how we met, but it's through social media. Yeah. She just, I guess, found the brand, online. She sent me a Facebook request. And we connected. And she's like, hey, I have a manufacturer company in Pakistan. Her name is Arlene. And I was like, okay, cool. Connect me. She was like, he does cut and sew. So at that time, I didn't really know what cut and sew was. I just was just printing on T-shirts, just doing screen printing. I was like, so what exactly is cut and sew? So then that's when she told me it's pretty much deconstructing the garment and, adding your own touch. So pretty much I have my own brand of T-shirts. I can do sweatsuits, this amazing quality. Let's say I want this sleeve to have a pattern on it and I want this sleeve just to be, red. So I was able to kind of open up my mind and my creativity a little bit more. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. She connected me with him. And what happened was he wanted me to do crazy amount of numbers. So basically I had to do 100 of one item. So let's say, for instance, I had to do this color shirt. I had to do 100 of them. Wow. I wanted to do a blue one. I had to do 100 of those. So I'm like, man, that's kind of a lot.
Especially just starting.
Yeah, especially just starting. But man, I ended up saving my money and I took that risk and I was sitting on a lot of inventory from doing that. But what essentially happened was I came out with some varsity jackets and I had about 100 varsity jackets. I was selling them at about 150. And I pretty much sold out of all the varsity jackets. But what happened was people in my hometown started complaining because they were all, not the people that were buying it, but the haters, you know how it is, right? Man, y'all running around with the same jacket on, and people was talking about that because literally everybody had the same color jacket.
I thought that's what happened when we all wore the same Nike jacket suit. We all got the same stuff, right?
Same stuff, man. So I just remember seeing that comment, and I'm like, dang, that's crazy that people would have that thought. Like, we all wear Jordans.
We all wear the same jeans.
Exactly, man. So they made a big deal out of it. So I had to find a unique way to cut down, the quantity that I was doing, so I can kind of separate, the different colors. Okay. So instead of coming out with one color, I needed to come out two, but I didn't need to order as much quantity because I would be stuck with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how that relationship came about. We've been building now for 10 plus years.
And you've never been there?
Nah, never been there, man.
You ain't going either. Don't look like
I don't think I'm gonna go, man. He's actually building a new factory, so he invited me to stay. So we'll see.
Yeah. You got to go. I mean, you'll be fine. You plan it out right. I mean, it's like anywhere else in the neighborhood. Sure. So you're bigger than just a T-shirt. Brand. Yeah. Man. What all do you have?
So right now, me and my partner Terry Brown, we've been setting on this concept for about 6 years. We actually have our first animation cartoon series coming out. It's very diverse. It's next level. We just brought on some Canadian developers to kind of help us develop the cartoon. So we're in the process of releasing this cartoon this year.
What is? Can you tell us a little bit about the cartoon?
Yeah. So just to kind of give you a brief synopsis on it. Basically, it's about 6 or 7 kids that grew up in a group home setting, and the life is the main character. His father is like the caregiver of all these kids, but it kind of shows you and takes you into their life journey, certain things that they experience. Every day they go on a journey and learn new adventures. It's relatable, right?
So it's like when we were kids, how we used to go outside and you'd be gone all day. I got you.
So it's gonna be that, man. Just getting back to those elements of getting back outside, but then also connecting with the younger crowd. You know what I mean?
Inside your clothing brand, though, you started with a T-shirt. Yeah. You started with T-shirts, a T-shirt, I'm gonna say, right? And I just heard you mention that you got a varsity jacket. Yeah. What else can I?
We got everything, man. We got varsity jackets, sweatsuits. we just released our first shoes.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So that in itself is like big for me because it was something that I've been working on for the last 2 years.
The shoes?
The shoes, yeah. Going back and forth, trying to get the numbers right, trying to find the right manufacturer.
So the same manufacturer doesn't do your shoe, that guy that does your clothes.
Yeah.
So the guy that does your clothes does your T-shirts, your jackets, your jogging suits, the whole nine.
Everything, yeah, everything. Okay. Yep. So we got a relationship with a company over in China.
Okay.
So they do the shoes. So quality too, man. They're comfortable.
So I got a question. So you got Pakistan, China.
Yep.
You haven't been to either factory.
I haven't been to either.
Is there not anything anybody locally that can develop those things for you?
Yeah, no, it is. So I do still get smaller work done. I have somebody in Atlanta that does, like let's say for instance, if I got a run of 100, 200 shirts,
okay,
they'll run them quick run. Or with the cut and sew element, there's companies out in LA, but they just charge so much. It's you look up, you may pay by the time you finish 30, 40 for a hoodie. My price points, I wanted to be affordable, quality,
gotcha,
but affordable. And that's how I was able to build my brand so quick because people are like, dang, man, this is good quality, man. And, you selling a sweatsuit for this price, man, give me 2 of them. You know what I mean? I was selling sweatsuits for like $70.
Really?
Yeah. Because I looked at it like if I was going to, if I was trying to sell to an arena and I knew my audience, so if I was going to sell to an arena, let's say it's 15,000 people in the arena, my focus wasn't focused on the 1,000 VIP because sometimes with the VIP, they might not want to tell everybody where they got their jacket from or their shirt from.
Correct. I'm VIP.
VIP, right? But the other 15,000 people, it was my audience that I wanted to connect with. So I'm like, look, if I sell it at this price point and they buy it, they're going to tell their friends, their family. Next thing you know, I'm selling so much at a volume. So that's pretty much what I did, man. I would sell, sometimes I cut deals like, man, just give me 40, and that helped me get my brand out quicker because people's like, man, this is quality and I like it and it has a message and it's a conversational piece when I go out.
Gotcha.
And that's what helped me really build my community fast, man. So
why shoes?
I think it was a different lane. For me, I think it's more so involving and building a full brand. I read the book, The Shoe Dog, from Phil Knight.
Okay.
And that just really inspired me, just how he started and built the company Nike. And I was like, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Do you think Mike helped him?
Tremendously.
Because in the early 80s, we weren't wearing no Nikes, man. No, bro. Not happening.
Nobody. And if you go back and read the book, man, they started off, they had a guy that was doing the sales. They would go to different consignment shops and stores and Blue Ribbon Sports at that time, and people were buying it, but it wasn't really connecting with the culture. I believe it was
we had Adidas, man. You got Run DMC. Exactly. I mean, you got to think, you had Adidas, you had Converse.
Yep.
And then if you think about it, I think I'm a Dominique fan.
Yep.
Right? You had like ponies.
Ponies, yeah.
Right?
Ponies is big too.
Yeah,
man.
ponies,
yeah.
Right?
Ponies is
and
big.
You might have had the Reeboks with the pumps and that, but Mike.
Yeah.
So I'm asking that because do you have like ambassadors? Do you have people that have like worn your clothes now at this point? Because you've been out now. What people don't think about it, 16 years is a long time, right?
Man. Long time.
How do you think about like brand ambassadors or how are you growing it outside of just you organically building your community?
For sure. That's something that we're tapping into now, man, is more of because now you have the influencers, right?
Yes.
So my biggest thing is finding the right people that aligns with the brand. So we have a couple NIL deals that we're working on.
Really?
Yeah. So on a smaller level, I can't really release it to everything.
No.
Yeah. But, just tapping into more of the youth, because what I started to study and understand is that when you look at Nike, you look at all these other companies, the influence of the athletes is what made Nike what it is.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And they tied it to this person, Jordan, who was coming up, who just everyone loved, and they wanted to be like Mike.
Yeah.
And, they had the slogan, just do it. That slogan alone took their company from making hundreds of millions to a multi-billion-dollar company.
Wow.
Because people connect with something. So I was like, you know what? I got to have my own slogan. So I created Believe, Pursue, Inspire.
Believe, pursue, inspire.
Yep.
Believe, pursue,
Believe, pursue,
inspire.
inspire. And I just stick it in people's heads. Believe, pursue, inspire.
Wow.
Because people connect with something on an emotional level.
Yes.
And if you can control how people think emotionally, you know,
Part of their life's journey.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to the shoes.
Yeah.
How many different pairs do we have?
So we got 2 that we came out with, and you know, I love being fully transparent, right? At that time, when I finally found the manufacturer to work with, you know, I was like, man, we need to do like 100 pair, you know, just to kind of get our feet wet, because it's something new.
Yeah.
Right. And they was like, well, that's too small. Like, we need you to do 300 per color. I'm like, 300 per color? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, man, this is a new lane for me, you know what I mean? So they was like, well, we can't do the deal unless you do 600 pairs. So when I finally agreed to do 300, what I then did was pre-orders. So I didn't even have the shoe in. I just took the sample, kind of showed my story. One thing I do is document the journey. I document the process. So I show people, you know, from start to finish. This is what I'm working on. This is what's coming. Did the pre-orders. I raised half the money to, I think I sold about 100 pre-orders. So I pretty much raised a good chunk of the money to get the production started. When I did the 300 one, then they came back and was like, hey, we need you to do another 300. So I'm like, dang, you know, that's 600 shoes. Like, you know, I know influencers, and I know shoe companies that's not even moving that many units right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no other choice, because I had already took people's pre-orders.
So you got to get them in.
So I had to get them in. So I had agreed to do 600, and that's when I came out the Desert Tones.
So you had 300 of the first, your first shoe, and then 300 of the Desert Tones.
The Desert Tones.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's been cool, man. It's been a challenge, because it's a new territory for me. You know what I mean? But it's exciting because I'm able to get a new product out, and I'm realizing it's almost like kind of starting over, you know, again. But the good thing is I have a community that loves the product. So people that buy the first pair, they like, because, you know, people like, man, I don't know what to expect. Are they comfortable? Man, they throw them on. They like, hey, bro, these are comfortable, man.
Are they comfortable?
Yeah, they comfortable, man.
Like what? I mean, you got to tell me, like, what kind of comfort?
Man,
like,
it's mad comfortable, man. Like, it gives you kind of like a New Balance feel. I don't know if you wear New Balance, but I wear a lot of New Balance. So it's really comfortable, man. And a lot of people have been telling me that. So they end up buying both pairs.
When you were designing, when I guess you were part of the design team.
Yep.
When did you first know, like, this is it? Like, what made that shoe, like, this is the shoe?
Man, I think more so the colors.
Okay.
You know, the colors were different. They were unique. And then when I actually got them in hand, I was like, yeah, this feels good too on my feet. And you compare it with so many different outfits. You know, if you want to lounge in it, if you want to go business casual, you know, if you want to work out in them, you know, it gives you a few different options on how you can kind of pair the shoes. So to me, that let me know that we have something. You know what I'm saying?
Are they the same? The two that we have right now, are they the same shoe, different colors, or are they two different, totally different kind of shoe?
Same shoe, different colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're working on the spring color now. So got another 300 coming.
What is that though? When you're selling shoes, what's some of the pushback that you've gotten? Like, I mean, because I see kids now, man. How much is the shoe?
150.
150.
Yep.
Man, you can't even get doggone Air Force Ones for 150 no more.
I know, man. I think the pushback that I've been receiving is just that it's new.
It's new.
You know what I'm saying? It's new. And I think with anything, you know, some people had to see other people embracing or wearing it for them to connect to it. And once I started realizing that, and it's like sometimes, man, you just got to do the pull-up method. You just have to get some certain people in the shoes for other people to gravitate towards it. So my son, General, he reached out, followed my brand page. He ended up sharing the brand. Man, I got a ton of orders just from him sharing it. And then Gary Chambers, I don't know if you know him. Then
I did. You know, I met him in the airport, man. I didn't know who he was, so he was sitting on the thing, and I was like, everybody keep talking to him. So, you know, Google.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, all right, he all right
guy,
then.
Man.
So then when I walked past him, I was like, hey, man, congratulations, because he was in the middle of like a race or something. He was on the plane, and then, I mean, he just started talking. I was like, wow,
great
really,
guy.
Yeah.
We got a pair to him. Got a few sales from him too as well. So it was more so just finding the audience to kind of connect with, you know what I'm saying, who about to see.
You know what's crazy? Comfort for me, and maybe because I'm getting older, is important, right? Because I used to wear like Chucks all the time, but they have no support, bro. I mean, woo, I might be somewhere, man, for a couple hours, and when I go sit, I'm like, God, my feet hurt, right? Then I start going to like, you know, doing a little running. I would run like Peachtree Road Race. So they was like, bro, stop running in them shoes. You know, you need to go. And I went to this place and bought some shoes. And I was like, man, what brand is that? They was like, don't look at the brand.
Right, yes.
And when I was like, how much are they? And she was like, 300. I was like, no, give me the Nikes. They 95.
For sure,
But for the comfort part of it, as people start to get like, for me, I care about comfort. For
sure.
So if they comfortable, we win. You know what I mean?
I'll make sure I'm gonna get you a pair.
Okay. We definitely got to order up some shoes, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So shoes, sweatsuits, t-shirts. What else do you? Varsity jacket,
varsity coats, shorts. We're getting ready to release the women's ladies line, so it's athleisure.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is it only a men's line right now?
No, it's women's too. So so we do women's. So we getting ready to kind of like do a full like breakdown of offering more products. You know what I mean? Because the brand is growing. A lot of customers, they want a few different looks. So that's one of the other things we're working on now.
And right now it's all online, virtual. Okay,
everything's online. And then we do pop-up shops. So, you know, I'm getting ready to bring out the list of where I'm going to be traveling to. I also have a mobile pop-up truck. So that was a concept that I kind of created. So I'm looking to maybe put the truck on the road at some point this summer.
Got you. What about, what do they call it? Placement in like stores?
Yeah. So we actually was in the process of that's why I love this podcast, Delayed Gratification, because, you know, we were going through a deal with Foot Locker. They reached out. They wanted us put us in 10 doors.
Okay.
And we went through the whole process. They was like, yo, this line really connects with, you know, the audience. The day that we was getting ready to do the contract, you know, and sign all the paperwork, and they was getting ready to place the order, you know, they sent me an email, said they had to put it on hold because Nike was then taking out product, you know, I guess was going to be kind of relinquishing the relationship with the Foot Locker and the Champ. So we had to pretty much put the deal on hold. So I'm like, dang. Because it's like every time, you know, you feel like you're going to have that moment, it's something that pulls you down. But that's the delayed gratification of things. You know what I mean?
So it's just, like you say, the timing. And if something bigger probably out there for you, because you could have got comfortable, got it in there, and then not came up with, because did you have the shoes at that time?
I didn't have the shoes. I was working on the shoes.
Okay.
So, yeah, this happened about a year ago. So, yeah, we have been in, you know, boutiques, few different stores, you know, coming up, which is good for me. But Ramon, I was just more so like connecting with my people with the pop-up shops and then online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm considering a brick and mortar, but I want it to be an experience.
So what is that? You know, so, you know, I'm a person that believes in we manifested. You know, I want to look back and say, man, I remember when. You know, I like that because that inspires me.
Definitely.
What does a brick and mortar look like though?
To me, it's an experience. It's an LJ experience. That's kind of what I'm working on right now. Okay. You know, it's my 4 or 5 year plan. I want it to be. I want it to be. So we can look back on this too. You know, essentially, I wanted to kind of create like a hotel boutique, kind of like a resort type thing. But I was like, you know what? I was talking to a good friend of mine, and we're actually working on it now. But it's going to be a life journey experience. So you come in this location. We're gonna have the store, of course. But then also, we're gonna have a few rooms for you to kind of live within this place, right? So people will come in and travel and visit this location,
that's
right?
Big. That's next level.
It's next level. And the good thing is, more of us need to start getting outside. I'm an outdoor guy, right? So I want to do kayaking, you know, hiking, but just add all these interactive activities to our guests that come in. So now they're going on this spiritual retreat or coming to this resort where they're able to buy the merchandise. And at the end of every night, we do like a campfire, like a talk. You know what I mean? Getting back to that, getting back to the family, the community, the love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting back to those things.
We need it. Is that what made you go to Arizona? I saw you did a photo shoot in Arizona.
Sedona, yeah. I went out there, man, to shoot the Desert Tones, but then also I went out there to do some scouting too, you know, for that 4 to 5 year plan that I want to put together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why Sedona?
Man, when I went out there, for me, I just felt at peace, you know. It was amazing just seeing the mountains and just the colors, and just everyone out there was friendly too. And it was just like a really good time. And I think for me, when I showcased it, a lot of people hit me up like, man, it's beautiful out there. I need to.
Yeah, there's a spa out there that I want to go to.
Okay.
Somebody kept saying you need to go to, because I run like crazy. You know, you got to figure out ways to make yourself better.
Definitely.
And so spas and restaurants are my thing. Like I want to go somewhere and be, you know, pampered and then eat really good.
For sure, yeah.
And but it's one, that's why I asked why. So I haven't been there.
Okay.
But there's one out there that said, and that's what they say, man. Yes. The views of the mountains, it's
amazing, bro. Like, and just, man, you could even just do a road trip for an hour, 2 hours, just seeing the sights.
While in Sedona.
While in Sedona. Yeah, it's amazing, man. I wish I had more time out there, but I plan on going out there. My goal, long-term goal, is also have a vacation place out there too.
In Sedona?
Yeah.
How far is Sedona from Phoenix?
About 2 hours.
Okay.
Because I flew into Phoenix, and then we drove up to Sedona.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like that, man. So life's journey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go backwards a little bit.
Yep.
You had a kid. I know you say your son or daughter.
Yeah, son.
Yep. So back in 2007.
Yep. No, 2008.
2008. Okay, because you came here, we're going back and forth. Yep. So how has that parenting been with your entrepreneurship?
Man, it's been cool. Me and his mom has a good relationship. You know, I wanted my son to, you know, live with me now because he's 14 now.
Yeah.
But you know, most boys like myself, mama's boys.
I know. I have a 15-year-old.
For sure. But it's been good, man. It really gave me that heightened ability to really tap into my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for him, he's been able to watch this journey of me moving up. And even with the whole Foot Locker deal, he was asking me like, Dad, what's up? The Foot Locker thing go through? And I had to tell him, I was like, but you know, this is a teaching moment that, you know, sometimes things don't work out the way we intended for. It doesn't mean that it's over. It just means that some things are delayed at the moment. So it's been one of those things, been able to pour into him and teach him and show him.
Does he wear the shoes?
Yeah, he wore the shoes.
He wore the shoes?
Yeah, he liked the shoes.
Oh, you might be done made it then.
Yeah. I text him, man. And you know what's so crazy too? He where he was in school in Kentucky, he would always see the brand. So it's one of those things where when he was going to 6th grade, you know, we'd go and buy him a backpack and go to the store. And I'm like, man, what you wearing my backpack? You know, because I have backpacks too. Okay. And he's like, nah. Yeah. so he'll wear, like, you know, get him a Nike backpack or whatever one. But then when he transitioned to the 8th grade, he was like, hey, Dad, man, you got one of the backpacks? You know?
Somebody cool had it on.
Yeah, and what happened was he seen all his friends at school with the Life Journey backpacks. He's like, I see your backpacks everywhere.
Wow, that's crazy, though.
And yeah, because sometimes you got to be able to see it. It's hard to become what you don't see.
Yeah.
So when you see it, and you like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Once you get the kids to buy in, normally you done made it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they don't, you know, as a parent, they like, we old. And you know, I look back when my dad was my age, I'm like, golly.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no, I'm a cool 47.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
my dad was super cool though. My dad was like that dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't look at that 47 like I look at it now. And I have kids. Yeah. My kids go from 7 to 26.
Wow, that's what's up.
So, you know, I have to kind of stay in the, you know, you want to be halfway there, but you got to still be a parent. You still got to be grown, but you got to kind of be cool so they'll listen to you. So, yeah, what about who do you think buys your brand?
Man, it's cool, man, because we did a collab with that chick Angel. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her.
I don't. That chick Angel that's her Instagram.
Yeah, that's her Instagram. Man.
Okay.
She has a huge following, and I realized we did a collab with her, and it was a lot of Black women from the ages of when we running like the ads, we did the analytics. you know, we getting a lot of black women that buys our brand from ages 35 to 44.
Wow.
That's like one of our huge customers, you know what I'm saying? And so after going through those numbers, that's been something that we're focusing on now, and is figuring out how we can reach that audience.
Because we're on a life journey, though.
We're on a life journey,
when you think about that age group, I'm 47.
For sure.
When you think about that age group, that's when you start to reflect. I mean, a lot you can when you're younger, but you've been through some things. You've probably, you know, you've been in some relationships. You've had some kids. That 35, you've college, work, whatever, entrepreneurship. You've had some failures, and so when you start thinking about it, like when you hear it, life's journey, start thinking about, man, we on a good one though.
We on a good one, and you know what else is crazy too? I do want to touch back on that. Is that it's amazing just to see the ages of customers. When I do these pop-up shops, I got people to come in that's 66 years old, and man, I was wearing my God I'm Trying, because I got a slogan called God I'm Trying. Man, there's a conversational piece, man. I ended up helping somebody, you know, get through life. They was going through a tough time. They seen my God I'm Trying shirt, and then up into, you know, kids that's in middle school, high school. It's a wide variety. So it's like when I do try to narrow down to find an audience, it's more so like so many people connect with life's journey, because we're all on the journey, and the messaging is what helps a lot of people, man. So
it says life's journey on the front, and God I'm Trying.
God I'm Trying on the back. That's one of the slogans. Keep planting seeds. You were not created just to exist.
Where'd you come up with these slogans from, though?
Bro, to be honest with you, conversations, just meeting people, traveling. I always tell my son 2 things you want to focus on when navigating through life: experience and exposure. The more experience you get with things, it sharpens your mind. The more things you expose to, it heightens your mind. So experience and exposure. That's
experience and exposure.
Experience and exposure.
Man, I like that one.
Yeah.
You got that on the shirt?
Man, I am coming. I'm gonna have to put on there, right?
Now, that is honest to God truth, man. I know when I go places on the plane, I tell people a lot of times on the plane or just driving, I have so many thoughts that are life changing. When I see, because everywhere I go, I look for real estate.
For sure.
I look for, I want to go in the hood. I want to see what y'all talking about in the hood. I want to see the nice stuff. I want to see buildings. And so that's that exposure, though, because the more I see a building, I'm like, one day, you know, we're gonna own that one. Right?
For sure.
Some of my exposure early on was my grandfather was a roofer. And we would be on the top of what is now the Western downtown. But we would go on top of that, and you can look down and see Atlanta. So I don't know if that like some kind of way said, dang, you love real estate, but I used to love to go up top.
For sure,
And so I know that's that exposure. That's that experience. I got an experience at the top of the Western. It used to be called the Peachtree Plaza.
Okay,
right? And I got experience at the bottom because he also had a recycling business where he picked out, you remember the trucks used to have the sides on them, where he picked out like cardboard. We would go behind the grocery stores and get cardboard.
I don't know where those are at.
And nobody have them no more, but cans and paper. And so it was a different, I saw both top and bottom. And so that was that exposure and experience.
Sure.
So I like that though. You got to have that on the shirt. You got to have that on the shirt. So what do you think gets you to the next, what is the next level with the clothing brand?
That's a great question. That's something I think about daily, right? To me, I think it's just having the impact to reach the world. You know what I mean? Like one of my slogans, start local, finish global, is the campaign that I'm like, people like, put it out. And I'm like, nah, it's too early. Because
what does that mean?
Start local, finish global. To me, is like, start where you at. Start within your city, your hometown, whatever it is, and just focus on building your community local. And then you focus on finishing global. And global is just inspiring and reaching out to, you know, a bigger audience. You know what I mean? Start local. When you look at LeBron James, a kid from Akron, you know, started local. It's a global phenomenon.
He is.
You know what I mean? So when I think about that slogan, to me is just more so like, man, it's going to reach and connect with so many people. I got to figure out how to not only create this as a campaign, but like an experience. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I mean, you're very inspirational. So I know people are looking at you. Start local, finish global. How do you teach? If I'm watching you, how do you teach me? Where do I start? Like even with a clothing brand,
Yeah.
do you teach other people how to start? Have you started consulting with people? What does that look like for you?
You know what? That's something that I'm working on now. I did it probably about 2 years ago. And Ramon, for me, I didn't really like I want to just help people, you know what I'm saying? So that was one of the things I couldn't figure out the price. So I was like, you know what, let me just help people. So people always call me like, I want to start a brand. I'm always helping the young people, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, getting started. But for me, I think it's just more so like the advice that I always offer is just start within your community, start within your circle of friends, your family. When I first started, we started at 12 shirts, you know what I mean? And I bugged all my cousins and all my friends to buy these shirts, you know what I mean? And I literally started from the bottom. And I started with the people that I know. And they would buy a shirt, even if they didn't want it, they would buy it and give it to somebody else because they didn't really see the message, right? Mm-hmm. But I believed in it so strongly that I just kept going. And what I always tell people is like, you got to do whatever you got to do to make it happen. And I remember just starting where we wanted to do, it was an event in Indiana. It's a Black Expo. And we wanted to get a vendor. I think it was $1,000. We didn't have that money. That's back around, I think 2000. Oh man, I think it's 2007 when I first started with the Eagle shirts or whatever. But we didn't have the money. We ended up doing a fish fry. My homie's mom, man, she cooked some fish, and we was at that time we was kind of doing like Uber Eats. We packed the fish up, drive it across town. We used to sell them for $5-10.
That fish was soggy, man.
It was definitely soggy, man, and it was crazy though because a lot of people were just kind of trying to support what we were doing. You know what I mean? And just those moments like that, man. You got
pictures, man, of y'all frying fish? Do you have any kind of?
We don't have the pictures. We do. I do got pictures of when we set up at the expo. And what's so crazy, man? Right here in the guy, we only sold like one shirt
at the expo.
Yeah. And that was with somebody I knew. And those are the moments where, you ask yourself, is like, what I'm doing, is it the right thing? I just kept pushing, man. You know what I mean? Where I look at a lot of people, they might have threw in the towel. There's a lot of people that came up the same time as me that started doing brands. They seen me and they stopped. You know what I mean? But I just kept going.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And
that's the journey.
That's the journey. Life's journey.
Yeah, life's journey.
If I'm watching this conversation we're having right now, tell me, how do I start a brand? Like, give me 3 steps to start a brand.
First, easy. First, what I always tell people is identify your audience. Mm-hmm. You got to know who exactly you're selling to, right? Because sometimes we'll create like these names and of these brands that doesn't connect with people, right? Or we pigeonhole ourselves where we only cater to one demographic of people. So I think your name is everything. Figuring out what, like, your audience and your name, right? 2, I would then figure out a manufacturer. A lot of people think they have to go overseas, but now you have the accessibility. You have Google and everything where you can pretty much find a manufacturer.
Okay.
Right? But find a manufacturer that you can build a relationship with. That's key. Somebody that's going to print quality garments, quality goods, is going to get your stuff printed on time, right? And then 3, to me, what I've realized is that we have the internet. The internet's so powerful, right?
Yeah.
Get out there and market yourself. Market your brand. Show the journey. Show the process. Show people. Take them on a journey. And when you taking people on a journey, they're able to connect with you more. They're like, man, I like that guy, man. I'm going to buy me a couple shirts from him. And that, to me, is how you connect with people. You know what I mean?
That was 3 really easy steps, but I want to ask you something about step 2.
Yeah.
Finding that manufacturer. You know what? I'm going to go back to step 1.
Yeah.
How do I know what my audience is? How do you determine that?
I think it's just more so, for me, what I've learned is learning your audience is key, right? But for me, it's more so you got to look at what it is that you're bringing out. You got to ask yourself, who do I envision in this brand? Do I see somebody that's in corporate America from ages 21 to up into 35? Do I see Am I making this attire for entrepreneurs?
Gotcha.
Am I catering my brand towards, just the Black community? I always see a lot of shirts that love our Black women, love our Black brothers. But then also, and I have other brands that I know where they're catering strictly to the rebellious youth.
Mm-hmm.
So they come up with, their name is a certain name just to cater to this one audience. So I think that's the key thing, is really trying to figure out exactly who you want to speak to. And once you narrow in who you want to speak to, do you want to speak to the person that's traveling and doing hiking and outdoor adventures? Because if there's one person that thinks like this guy or that girl, there's thousands, millions of other people that have the same commonalities. You know what I mean? So I think that's the key thing, is figuring out exactly who you see in your clothing. Because sometimes you can create something and it could be the complete opposite of people in your clothes too, right?
Yeah.
But at least have an idea of who you actually see wearing your brand, and then figure out exactly, okay, how am I going to reach them? So if this is a person that's in corporate, maybe I want to do a suit line. You know what I mean? Where do I reach these people at? Corporate events. Yeah.
Man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit. What does delayed gratification mean to you?
To me, man, a guy that I look up to, Denzel Washington, said, sometimes you have to do what you don't want to do now so you can enjoy it later. And to me, I looked at it from this perspective. It's the journey, right? Plant those seeds. Even if you don't see those seeds growing, even if you don't see that harvest at the moment, you still got to continue to plant those seeds. Because one day, everything that you build and you blood, sweat, and tears you put into your craft is going to pay off. And you got to understand is that what I realize is that the journey is the destination. The journey is what makes a story greater. Not getting everything you want right now is the process, man. You got to go through the steps. So many people want to jump over the steps, man. But if you jump over them, you got to go back and repeat it. It might not be right then at that moment. It could be 2 to 3 years from now with a lesson that you didn't learn, because it's always peaks and valleys throughout life. And that's simple. That's what it means to me, man.
And listen, that was a lot of wisdom packed into a few seconds, man.
Sure.
Tell us how we find you, where we can find you at, where we can go look at the brand and buy the brand. How do we support you?
Got you. Yep. Chris Hudson. I'm on Instagram. Chris Hudson _JRNY. Life's Journey Clothing. So it's Life's Journey CO, and then www.lifesjourneyclothing.com.
And I appreciate you being on, man.
Thank you.
Listen, y'all. Thank y'all for watching this episode of Delayed Gratification Podcast, y'all. It's been another, and I'm going to say, it's been another great one on Life's Journey, right? I appreciate you, Chris, man. I look forward to, getting together. Sure. I look forward to putting those shoes on my feet, man. And again, being on this Life's Journey with you, man. Sure. We're connected now.
Definitely, we are.
So I appreciate you. Again, thank y'all for watching Delayed Gratification Podcast. I'll see y'all on the next episode.